To Nevada Newsmakers, the Base Closure Commission is recommending shutting down Hawthorne's Army Depot. That could be devastating to Mineral County. We'll have the details. Ray Hagar has the rundown.
Thanks, Sam. Today's guest is Cichowlaz he's a president GM of Day and Zimmermann, the group that runs the Hawthorne Army Depot.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Jason Geddes, Harry York, and Andy Barbano. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
In part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevada.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
Nevada Newsmakers is sponsored in part by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
You bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on the program, welcome to the program, Cichowlaz, who is the general manager and president of Day and Zimmermann's Hawthorne Army Depot. And it's a pleasure to have you here. The Base Closure Commission has recommended shutting down Hawthorne. But I was privy to an email that was sent out by your Director of Munitions and Logistics, Ron Going, that said that there were a lot of basic mistakes in the information that BRAC was basing their recommendation on. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, there's a number of things. First, foremost, probably is the economic side of the house, where the BRAC Commission said there was 199 employees that would be affected by the closure. In reality, there's about 573, plus another 480 probably in town. So there's probably 1,000 people that are affected in a community of, what do you say, 3,000 people or someplace like that. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they really didn't do a scenario on any other depots when they closed. They do a closure scenario, and what they did was pick Hawthorne, and they used only Hawthorne to close. Instead of using Tooele or Bluegrass or any other scenarios, only one. So you didn't have a fair comparison of what's going on. Thirdly, they said that we didn't do any renovation or demilitarization at the depot. Well, we've done demil there since I was there in 1971, so we've done it for 30-some years. Last year we did between 6,000 and 8,000 tons of munitions, more than any of the other depots in the system. Probably if you added up all the munitions done at the other depots, we did more than all of them put together too. So some of the information is kind of fact-bending. When you're at 199 employees, that means you don't get a site visit. If you are at 500 employees, you get a site visit. And I believe the BRAC Commission ought to come to Hawthorne, Nevada and see what's going on.
So they recommended the base be closed without even inspecting the base itself?
Absolutely, because what they did was set criteria that the commissioners would come to a certain location if you met that criteria. And if you're at 199 employees, you don't meet that criteria. It's a magical number because nobody can come up with, how do you come up with 199 employees? Can't do it.
There's going to be a hearing on June 24th in Clovis, New Mexico, of the BRAC Commission, and Governor Gwynn is going there, Senator Randolph Townsend, Mike McGinnis from Fallon, Assemblyman Bernie Anderson, Giles Vanderhoof with Homeland Security, and Cindy Kirkland, Adjutant General of the Nevada National Guard, and the Mineral County Executive Director Shelley Hartman. Are you going to go along on this as well?
Yes, we're going to be there. Contractors cannot speak. They can't go to the site visit and they can't talk at the public hearing. So we are the contractor. We have 550 employees at Hawthorne. It seems like we have something to lend. I have been there for 35 years, and the company has been there for 25 years. Yes, I've got one of my directors of demilitarization's going, my marketing person I'm going to. So yes, we'll be there.
You know, what is the mood of the people in Hawthorne? They have this base closure hanging over their heads, and then they also have the Walker Lake issue where the huge lake right out of town it just keeps shrinking and shrinking to a point where it has so much salt in it won't it's not home for fish anymore.
Well, Mineral County has always, in the last few years, has been pretty stable. They fluctuate mostly on mining, and when we have a big mine, we have a lot of influx of dollars, and people come to the community. The base has been pretty stable at 500 plus or minus people. And Walker Lake draws something to it, but not as much as Lahontan and Pyramid and some of the others in Lake Tahoe. It's 131 miles from Reno. It's kind of like on the economic development, folks say, hey, you're 131 miles from Reno. How can you close Hawthorne? It's going to affect 3,000 people and 1,000 jobs, and you come and, it's tough on those people down there. It's tough on all of us. My wife and I have 2 or 3 kids that work at the depot. We don't know exactly what they're going to do, and I'm not ready to retire. Are you? No. I still got 10 years to go, and so we're all concerned about it. It's a bad decision that the U.S. Army is making right now. We have if you listen to the news recently, you have the unification of South and North Korea that is in the headlines. There's 400,000 tons of munitions sitting in Korea that needs to go somewhere. I'm not sure where they're going to put them, but it needs to go somewhere.
So bottom line, what's your battle plan to keep the depot in Hawthorne?
The first battle plan is basically was to let the government know that there was inaccuracies in the report that was filed in '03. Second thing is that, hey, take a look at the future. What are you guys going to do in the future? You've got a $3.5 billion facility down there, and you close it, you'll never get 146,000 acres back. Or 3,000 buildings. You'll never get it. Right now we've been using it for training for Iraq and Iran, and I said Iran, but I got a feeling that that's the same kind of terrain, and if we get there, we get there in Afghanistan. So we're using it for that. It's a pretty tough situation down there right now.
Okay, you did say Iran there.
Yeah.
We are actively conducting military maneuvers based upon an invasion of Iran?
No. I made that error saying that, hey, if you look to the future, you have got the Pacific Rim, and you've got Iran, and you've got other places, but our conditions down there mirror those places 100%, so that's pretty cool.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk more about the base, because I don't think people really understand what we have there. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community. But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof.
Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're back continuing our conversation with Cliff Cichowlaz, who is the general manager and president for Dane Zimmerman that runs the Hawthorne Army Depot. There's only one military person there, correct?
Right,
Colonel
Colonel
Summers?
Summers, yes. Yeah.
All right, explain for the folks that may not know. Most of us have driven through Hawthorne. We see all the bunkers out in the desert, and we presume there's munitions stored in there. Exactly what is the role of the base?
The base in the early years, in the 1940s, is basically the manufacture of bombs and munitions for the war. And then as time went on, of course, it's cyclic, and as the war goes away, so does the base, and on and on and on. And then in Vietnam, it was basically an ammunition plant again. It manufactured explosives for the war in Vietnam. In fact, I think it manufactured more munitions than any other place. And then in the I guess you could say 90s, basically, we went to just a depot, and that's the storage of munitions. We do not store chemical munitions. We do not store any of that stuff. What we store is conventional munitions. We have right now about 300,000+ tons of it stored in about 1,300 magazines. We have about 2,700 magazines total, and then we have storehouses that hold component parts and stuff like that. In the early days, let's go back to Desert Storm. Desert Storm, we shipped about 70,000 tons out of there to Desert Storm. After it was finished, we received 175,000 tons back for storage and disposal. And what we do is store munitions, account for munitions, secure munitions, and then we end up renovating munitions for the future warfighters, which we're doing today. We're processing 105 millimeter cartridges down there now. We've done about 300,000 of those because we're the cheapest in the country. And then all obsolete munitions, we do demilitarization, which is the tearing apart and recovering of the component parts and explosives. We sell them explosives to the mining industry. We sell your scrap to the car industry. So that's pretty much what we do. And then we also do training. We had 1,000 Marines down there a couple weeks ago doing training down in the area. They were doing pre-deployment training for Iraq. So that's what they were doing. We do testing. The Marine Corps has a test facility there that takes ballistic testing of all your mortars, your 81, 60s, your 105 millimeters. They do the testing out at this range. And then on top of that, we have the Navy that is a tenant down there that recycles batteries and that they do mine components and torpedo warhead stuff. So it's pretty much all your munitions. They do something down at the Hawthorne Army Depot. It is the best place in the western United States.
If this were to close, what would it do to our state's readiness against terrorism? Would it have effect on that?
I don't really believe so. I believe that the depot is self-sufficient. It's a military depot. It's for military purposes. We do not support homeland defense. We do have a number of guards down there, but we don't. That can be used for whatever purpose. But I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Even if they were to say that the base is to be closed, it is still going to be a long time before that base actually really closes, because you have contracts in place, don't you?
We have a contract in place for the next 4.5 years, and they said it was going to take about $180 million to close the facility. We figure more like $1.3 billion. By the time you move the munitions out to some location, by the time you demil whatever's left, demilitarization or tearing apart the munitions, whatever's left, and then you end up with the environmental cleanup, which is going to take significant time. They say that we can move the munitions out by 2011, and that we should be able to demil it around that period of time, whatever's left. And then the environmental cleanup is going to take between 5 and 10 years, and it's going to cost them a significant amount of money. A lot of we talked earlier were production facilities. And so back in 1940, you did not have all the Clean Air Act and all the other things, so there is some contamination down at the base. Yeah.
Well, bottom line, how confident do you feel in the fact that our leadership can save this base from being closed? Because, quite frankly, there have been very few sites that have been on the BRAC closure list that have ever been pulled off of it.
Right. Somewhere around 15%, I think, is the magic percentage. Well, this time along, they were supposed to look at a puristic way of doing business, and that is military value. What is the military value of the Hawthorne Army Depot and all the other depots? We're going to close the one that does the lowest military value. Unfortunately, Hawthorne has one of the highest military values. They want to move a high military valued location into a small military value location, which is Cichowlaz. So honestly, I think if they do a fair evaluation, if we see a site visit, which that's what we're trying to get, and they do a fair evaluation and look at the world situation today, I don't think the Hawthorne Army Depot will be closed.
We wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much for being here, Cliff. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you. As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Well, I got to tell you, we just did our interview here with the chief from Hawthorne, and he left us goodies, and we want to show you. This is a T-shirt that they sent us, and it's got great inscribings on the back, and it says, "No Brack, no ghost town, no way, Hawthorne, Nevada." And we're with you all the way, folks. We hope it works out, and we'll keep following the story. Okay, our Power Pundit panel today.
Home of the Serpents, Hawthorne High School.
Andy Barbano is here, the editor of NevadaLabor.com, Jason Geddes, former Assemblyman, and Harry York, president of the Reno-Sparks Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to you all. Ray, dive in.
Well, yesterday the Las Vegas Review-Journal folks, as you probably know, published their poll of the best and worst lawmakers of the 2005 legislature. On the top was Bill Raggio and Barbara Buckley. On the bottom was Sharon Ingle of Reno and Sandra Tiffany of Henderson. And I got to say that it was a fun read, but all this is a popularity contest vote, and so I would say Raggio and Buckley are the legislature's homecoming king and queen for 2005.
that biennial poll has no credibility and never has, largely because they've never polled me. So unless I get my licks in, it can't possibly have a good broad cross-section of Nevada public opinion.
And of course, it was the Review-Journal, so Senator Bob Beers was named as the top freshman senator.
What do you expect from those crypto-fascists at the RJ's editorial page?
Okay, Jason.
I'm still dealing with crypto-fascists. I don't know. I mean, it is just a poll, and it's just a popularity poll, and it goes out to the legislators, and it had less than a 40% return rate and lobbyists. But, I mean, Raggio and Buckley are very effective legislators. If you look at their legislative agenda and what they got through a lot of things. And as we were talking before the show, you looked at the negotiations on the final budget where they were splitting out buildings, and when Senator Raggio goes in a room and he wants a $32 million building, and Assemblyman Arbery wants a $25 million building, and you come out of the room and Raggio's got $32 million and Arbery's got $1, that's effective.
To say the least.
I would say Bill had one of his best years, certainly since I've been here.
And
he had an awesome year. He got the things done. He moved the governor's agenda, and you think about part of that at the end probably could have been finished a few hours sooner, but they got it done in the last 12 hours.
Ironically, Bill Raggio was supposedly going to be ousted as either the leader of the finance, majority leader or finance committee leader, and he consolidated his power, and he seems now he's more powerful than ever.
I'd like to quote from the Las Vegas Review-Journal's editorial this morning on this poll, and they said, Sharon Ingle of Reno, the lower house's loudest voice for spending restraint and tight property tax caps, was judged the worst member of the Assembly. The report cards are further evidence that lawmakers and those who surround them believe all the state's problems can be solved with the addition of several hundred pages to the Nevada revised statutes, that Nevada would be a better place to live if only residents would hand over their wallets and let government take care of them.
And I want to comment. I mean, last session we took a lot of flack, and I lost my seat for the increase in spending, and it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $800 million. They spent 50% more than that this time, and there is no flack. And if you look at the vote...
Oh, no, I think there's a lot of flack. I think that Liberty Watch put out a piece yesterday by Doug French, and we'll be talking about this some more tomorrow, that said, where was the fiscal conservatism? They even mailed Bob Beers and things. I mean, there's no such thing as a fiscal conservative in this state at this point, or maybe even this country.
Well, look at the votes.
Maybe libertarians, but not
the Assembly. They had fiscal conservative Republicans in the Assembly, but the free-spending Democrats have such a majority in there that they were irrelevant.
But where were the voices for fiscal restraint?
You're defining the parameters incorrectly. The crypto-fascists at the Review-Journal look at things as anything. And Bob Beers, my old friend Bob Beers, whom I met in his radio days on Northern Nevada radio 30-plus years ago, they look at everything. Any spending increase by government that is more than the population increase is, of its very nature, wrong. The reality is that the gambling industry acts as a drain and a parasite on the economy, and there's a state study posted at NevadaLabor.com, signed off on by Kenny Quinn and Lorraine Hunt, that has the statistics to prove it. The gambling industry is a drain, and when you're growing and your major industry creates a lot of Walmart-style social problems, you have to spend more than the population increase. So the whole idea that any spending more than the population increase is wrong is absolutely fallacious given the Nevada economy and how far behind reality we are.
But look at Bob. I mean, Bob is a fiscal conservative. I mean, you look at what he brought up. Senator Raggio early in the session had a debate on what areas to cut, and Bob was the only person who went to that table, and he listed specific items of where they could cut out of this budget. And if you want to talk Walmart style of budget, we do have that here, but every state has it. I mean, Walmart's not unique to Nevada. Nevada has a gaming economy. You look at the jobs that gaming puts in, there's some very good paying jobs in there with the culinary union and the jobs that people are working. It brings a lot of money to this economy, and without gaming, I would hate to think where we are. I mean, gaming's a part of our history, and they provide a great boon to our economy for all sorts of jobs.
Hang on a second. Let Harry have the last word here.
Well, I was just going to say that the gaming is more than it's part of this whole piece of the energy that we have going on in Nevada, and now and its success has now brought the other industries that we currently have that are attracting why people are moving here.
And I think that you're seeing the gaming industry changing before your very eyes in southern Nevada, with instead of just standalone properties, now whole communities being built. And it's going to be an interesting social experiment to see how this continues in the coming years.
Put Count Dracula's castle in every neighborhood.
They're working on that. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out. Take a shower, will ya?
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community. But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And tomorrow?
Well, Sam, we're going international. We're going to be talking about India and China.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.